An artwork once abandoned in a farmhouse appeared on the Roadshow. It was a painting made by John William Waterhouse during the early stages of his career. Waterhouse was an English painter whose art depicted women of ancient Greek mythology. The painting was pretty worn out, but it still amassed a value between £5,000 to £10,000.
£5,000 or £6,000.
Shock. I am shocked. I am. I thought about £500.
Investment. What's cooler than having a diamond jewelry that could serve as a necklace and bracelet? It was purchased by the guest's great-great-great-grandaunt back in the day, and later acquired by her father after buying it for $20,000. The jewelry was made with 25 carats of diamond that was found in South Africa during the 20th century. Its value was a cool $60,000 to $90,000.
Oh my goodness, thank you.
It's beautiful.
Oh, how fun.
When this woman ran for Coolidge Cotton Day Rodeo Queen, she proudly rode the saddle her grandfather gifted her when she was 4 years old. The saddle had designs that were made with cactus fiber. It was made around the early 20th century and used during special occasions. The saddle had a value of $6,000 to $8,000.
Wow.
So it's a really special thing.
It's very special to me, and every time I look at it, I remember Granddad. So that's the
best part.
That's the best part.
Someone tampered with this painting by forging a signature. Does that affect its value? The painting was made by a watercolorist, Edgar John Vley, whose grandfather, John Vley, was an esteemed watercolorist. You could say painting runs in the blood. Although the signature at the bottom seemed like a forged one, it was lack of demand of Edgar's art that gave it a value between £1,000 to £2,000.
That's fine, thank you.
Is that all right?
Yes, that's very
Good,
nice.
well, thank you very much.
After being told to move his things out of his parents' attic, he rediscovered his Avengers comic books and brought them in for valuation. His mother had paid $24 at auction to purchase the comic books for him years back. The Guess Avengers comics were among the first editions released in 1963. The comic was written by Stan Lee and illustrated by Jack Kirby. Both books were valued at $4,500 to $6,500.
No way, you are kidding me. In that condition? Wow, my mom is going to freak out.
A furniture set of the Sheraton Revival period isn't really the taste of the owner. The Sheraton Revival period lasted from 1720 till 1890 and was named after Thomas Sheraton, who greatly influenced the furniture design. The owner received the piece from her mother-in-law, and after hearing its value of £5,000, she had this to say:
I like it all more now.
Even after her mother divorced her husband, she kept wearing the diamond wedding ring he bought her.
She never took off this diamond. It stayed on her finger, and she just she refused to take it off. She was very sentimental about it.
Right.
Maybe the diamond.
The ring was made by French jewelry company Van Cleef and Arpels. It is an emerald-cut ring made with 5 carats diamond. The appraiser valued the ring at $80,000 to $100,000.
Oh, great! Well, that's that's nice.
These poster designs were used on the cover of Railway Age magazine in the 50s. Some people, however, weren't totally fascinated about the art, but the guest was. He purchased the posters and original art from private dealers. Some of the items had the signature of the artist, Burn Hill. All the items brought in by the guest valued between $37,000 to $42,000. George Nakushima, an American woodmaker and father of the American craft movement, made this unique furniture for the guest's family. The guest brought in the furniture and a sketch of the bench that was done by George. Luckily for them, they kept George's original sketch, which boosted the value of the bench.
Oh my God.
Now, because you have the drawing, you get to add a few thousand more on top of that. So say we're at the $45,000 mark. For insurance, you might want to raise it higher, but this is, I'd say $45,000.
Did you ever know there was a thing such as brown diamond? This diamond brooch was given to the guest by her aunt because they shared the same name. Her sweet aunt was certain that the brooch wasn't a diamond, but the appraiser confirmed that it was indeed a diamond. The brooch was made with 2 carats of diamond in the 19th century.
And it's a shawl pin for a very elegant lady in about 1900.
Its value was £2,500. A Worcester sauce bowl from the 18th century named Wigonier is among one of the most important pieces of English porcelain to have appeared on the Roadshow. Worcester porcelain is the second oldest English porcelain brand that is still in existence. The bowl was purchased and has been in the Guest family for approximately 30 years. It was put in a tray together with items considered as invaluable by the family. But this piece proved to be very valuable after being appraised at £5,000 to £10,000.
No. Good Lord alive.
Not bad for a couple of quid's worth of junk on a tray, is it?
I can't believe that.
It's a great thing. Thank you very much.
The belongings of a Native American rights activist, Ruth Muskrat Bronson, appeared on the show and took viewers back in time. Ruth fought for the rights of Native Americans and was the first guidance and placement officer at the Bureau of Indian Affairs. Her belongings were valued at $8,000 to $12,000.
Wow. And these things are priceless to our family.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Furniture by a remarkable man nicknamed the Furniture Jeweler has been kept under the wraps for 40 years. It was made by André Charles Boulle, a French cabinet make, whose style was characterized by brass and tortoiseshell marquetry. His furniture are being displayed in various museums such as the Art Institute of Chicago, Victoria and Albert Museum and Cleveland Museum of Art.
An antique shop with the restoration done, £5,500.
This blue candlestick is not just like any regular candlestick. It was designed by Loose Comfort Tiffany, who won the 1900 Paris Exposition for the Favorable glass used in making the candlestick. The candlestick was valued at £1,000 to £1,500.
Thank you very much.
A soldier during World War I enjoyed this brand's peaches so much that he wrote a letter to a worker at the company telling him how much he liked them. The soldier had written the letter on the label of the Peach Can. The woman who brought the label said it was owned by her grandfather. Because of the letter's association with World War I, it was valued between $550 to $600.
Wow. Not bad for a can of peaches.
Famous American football player Gale Sayers was the childhood hero of this man who came to the show with a jersey Gale wore when he played for the Chicago Bears.
That probably got torn off too, but that makes it better. All these tears and rips and blood and sweat. That's what collectors want. That's what everybody wants.
Yeah.
That's the history.
That's the NFL.
That's the NFL. That's it.
That's it.
And it's all here.
What is the price of this piece of NFL history? A double red Rolex watch gifted to the owner is the desire of most collectors. When these types of watches were first made by manufacturing company Rolex, they were produced in small numbers due to low demand, making them rare. The strap of the guest's watch had broken and detached, but it is still valued at £35,000.
Oh, goodness. 35,000. That's amazing.
Thanks so much.
Oh, thank you.
Lovely,
indeed.
lovely.
Thank you. Lovely.
Absolute joy for me to see it.
Thank you very much. That's fantastic.
The owner of this item thought it was a magnifying glass, but it's actually a sculpture. It was made by a Mexican artist, Feliciano Bejar. Feliciano made the piece with strap items that he found. The items were fixed together with the glass and called magiscopios.
They became known as magiscopes, and the magiscope became his trademark piece for the rest of his career. The purpose of the piece is not to make reality more clear, it's to distort reality, to see things in a different way.
The piece had a pretty great value of $3,000.
So it's a pretty great purchase.
Yes.
from the thrift store.
Yes.
Yeah. I think as time goes on, his pieces are going to increase in value.
Chinese inscriptions, but European design. What could be the origin of these mirrors?
They're obviously made as mirrors, which is an unusual thing itself to have in China, this type of long, tall mirror with an arched top. It's not a Chinese feature.
This pair of mirrors were acquired by the Guest family when they moved into a new house. The mirrors were beautifully designed with carvings of different animals, which signify longevity. They were valued at £5,000 to £8,000.
That is a surprise.
That's probably gone up almost as much as the property you bought in 1970 as well.
Yes.
Winnie the Pooh drawings were sold for £60,000 at auction. What could this rough sketch of the cartoon sell for? This lady was friends with E.H. Shepard's daughter, and she received one of Shepard's rough sketches of Winnie the Pooh's as he was evolving from Growler. Growler was a teddy bear that was owned by the son of the book's author, A.A. Milne. Winnie the Pooh drawings are highly sought after by collectors, and the value for the rough sketch was £10,000 to £15,000. The son of a worker at Industrial Light and Magic, a special effects company that did the special effects of the 1981 movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark, blessed viewers of the Antiques Roadshow with a prototype of the Ark of the Covenant props used in the film. The item racked up a great value of $80,000 to $120,000.
Wow. And not bad for hot glue and spray paint.
Absolutely.
The guest named Tiffany got a Tiffany as a birthday present. How fantastic. It was a vase made in the 1920s by Tiffany Furnaces, a company owned by Louis Comfort Tiffany. The vase was made with Favril glass, Louis' popular discovery. The appraiser put a value of $30,000 to $50,000 on the vase.
Oh my God. Wow. Wow, I had no idea.
I think it's really lucky that you were named Tiffany.
Not after the jewelry store, after the family dog that was named after the jewelry store, so.
Certainly don't judge a book by its cover.
At first sight, one's bound to say, what a mess.
This book is in a badly damaged state, but houses a number of good drawings in it. It contained drawings of men who looked like workers of a shipping office. A signature on one of the drawings dates 1848, which could have been the date it was drawn. Given the state of the book, its value was £300 to £400. The sculptor of this piece paid so much attention to its detailing. It is a Japanese sculpture by a talented sculptor, Kandai Kenjiro, which was made during the Meiji period. It was valued at $12,000.
Really? I had no idea. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh my gosh. Thank you.
A sash used during the inauguration ball of the first president of the United States, George Washington, appeared on this episode of the show. The woman who had brought it got it from her mother. Its value was $3,000 to $6,000.
I'm excited, really, Lee. I just love it.
Seller online told him the item was an original, but he didn't believe it. Turns out that they were right. The item is a promotional calendar for Bunker Hill Breweries, which features the baseball team, Red Sox. The team had popular players like Babe Ruth, whose items are highly demanded by collectors. This kind of calendar is hard to come by and was given a value of $20,000 to $30,000.
Huh. Did you hear that? $20,000 to $30,000.
Very good.
This lady had probably left the show with so much regret. She came with her husband's 1963 Rolex GMT Master. The watch had broken in the past, and she took it for repair. Knowingly, replacing the parts was going to reduce the value of the watch.
This watch at auction is worth $8,000 to $10,000.
Okay, good.
What would the auction value be if she had never had it repaired?
If it had all been original, $15,000 to $20,000.
Oh, my word.
A fan of the hit series, The Sopranos bought a costume and script used in the TV show for $100 during a charity auction. The costume was worn by the lead actor of the show, James Gandolfini, and the script contained autographs of those involved in the show's production. Both items were valued between $3,000 to $4,500.
Wow. It's one of the few times that a charity auction paid off for me.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
The story of the Holocaust by the Nazis in Germany is such a sickening thing to hear. The story this guest shared about his mother's Holocaust camp experience brought the appraiser to tears, and probably some viewers too. He brought a shirt that was worn by his mother in the camp, some pictures of her, and a letter she wrote to her parents while she was in camp. They were valued at $10,000, but these items certainly hold more value than money could buy.
I mean, it's just a very difficult.
The owner of these lamps hadn't realized that they were valuable until a friend pointed it out to him. The lamps were designed by Finnish designer Lisa Johansson Pape. They were made from opaque glass around the 1950s.
I think that you could probably call them a mushroom. She did other things. There's a Finnish word for onion. She definitely liked a stylized, streamlined fruit and vegetable inspiration.
The pair of lamps were valued at $2,000 to $3,000.
Wow. Wow. That's a great $20 investment.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
We wonder how many basketball games this woman got to enjoy over the years. She worked with one of the best college basketball coaches, Gino Auriemma, who is a 3-time winner of the WBCA National Coach of the Year. She came to the show with 11 championship rings that belonged to the Yukon women's basketball team. Having one championship ring is amazing, and having a complete set is definitely awesome. The value for the set was $100,000.
And hopefully we add to it.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, and thanks for bringing it in. It's so cool. I know people out there are like, wow, nobody gets to see something like this. Really
Thank you
cool.
very much.
Her grandmother's engagement ring later becomes hers. However, she chooses to store it safely in a deposit box. The ring was a popular type of ring in the early 20th century. It is a highly stylish yellow diamond and platinum ring made with about half a carat of diamond.
It looks to me like a very fine sort of East Coast jeweler. It's unsigned, so we can't really determine who made it. But because of the fine platinum work and this really nice garland motif, which we have on the sides here as well, it's a very fine ring and a very fine manufacturer.
The ring's value was $4,000 to $6,000. Chinese people always invent the most exquisite pieces. This piece is known as a Cinnabar Lacquer and was made during the Qianlong period that lasted between 1736 to 1795. China is said to have been the most famous nation during this period. The guest Cinnabar Lacquer is a beautiful and delicate piece.
Your grandmother or grandfather or someone from your family knew that this was quite a fragile piece.
Yes.
So look what they said here. Keep this ring in place when shipping or transporting from place to place.
Yes.
It was valued between $7,000 to $10,000.
Wow. Wow.
This lady's mother was a sitter for one of Paul Trubetskoy's sculptures. Paul was an exceptional sculptor from Italy. In 1924, when the guest's mother was 7 years old, Paul made a bronze sculpture of her. The piece was valued impressively at $20,000 and even doubled in value to $40,000 in 2020.
Wow.
So it's been a very valuable piece.
Wow.
A 1941 Robert Riggs lithograph that was an advertisement for Purolator air filters in the Saturday Evening Post was bought for $15 by the owner in 1970 and later valued at $15,000 on the show. Now that's the kind of investment we like to see.
Whoa. Winner, winner, winner. Good. Well, this is not bad for a $15 investment.
Baseball items are taking over the Roadshow. This piece is a pin that belonged to a member of the baseball club, Washington Olympics. The owner of the pin got it years back during a telephone auction. The Washington Olympics team were among the first set of people to play professional baseball. The pin's value was $10,000 to $30,000.
All right, I'm a little surprised at that much, but...
Reading a World War II journal would most likely bring tears to the eyes. The journal of an air corps during the war was brought in by his daughter. It contained some sketches and documentations of events that happened while he was a prisoner of war at a camp in Bath. For the value of the journal, the appraiser had this to say.
So we've got the monetary value, which at auction would be in about the $2,000 to $3,000 range. And as far as I'm concerned, its historic value is priceless.
Thank you, Dad.
While at Louisiana Hayride in Shreveport, this woman met and collected signatures of Elvis Presley and John Cash. Both artists were still starting out in the industry.
So that is pretty extraordinary, and it really affects the value, and to have these two together, because if we set the period here.
For the item's value, the appraiser stated.
At auction for the program, I would put between $5,000 and $7,000.
Oh, really? I had no idea. Really? That's fantastic. I'm glad I kept it all these years.
Artist has their approach to art, and this particular artist has a very distinctive approach. The name of the artist of this artwork is Titus Kaffar, an artist that has gained a very good reputation due to the uniqueness of his art pieces. The owner of this particular art, titled New Enunciations, was speechless after hearing it being valued at $30,000.
This is what I do when I'm like at a loss for words or nervous. Okay, wow. This right here? Titus, I love
you. Just like the photographer, the owner of these pictures felt nostalgic after seeing the photos, which were photographed by William Christenbury. She purchased both photos for $10 at a thrift store and was super excited to hear the appraiser say,
I would estimate each of these between $1,000 and $1,500.
Oh. Thank you so much. Not bad for $10.
Not bad for $10.
Who knew little kids also get fascinated by antique items? This little boy was attracted to this silver piece because it had the first letter of his name on it. The piece is known as a Demitasse Pot, which is used to serve coffee. It was made by a company named Watson.
And then in 1900, another company, Watson, they were commissioned to make hollowware, which this is called hollowware.
The pot's value was $250 to $350.
Wow. Wow. For something I found on the side of the road, that's amazing.
If you're a book collector, this is proof that your torn books might still be very valuable. A rare first edition of the 1851 book, Pearl of Great Price by the American religious leader, Joseph Smith, was owned by the great-great-grandfather of the guest. The book was far from being in good condition, but its $60,000 value didn't seem to care much about that. A lover of Picasso was disappointed after learning that the ceramic vases she traveled all the way to France to buy was out of stock. The items she got instead turned out to have great value. She and her husband visited Valoris, where Picasso lived, to purchase two pieces that were designed by Picasso for Medora Pottery. Both items were valued at...
How about at auction, roughly $8,000 to $12,000?
Oh my God, that is really amazing.
And this vase, about $10,000 to $15,000.
Oh my God. But I'd never sell them, ever.
The guest on this episode is related to the First Lady of American Theater, Helen Hayes. She brought in a Chanel cuff that Helen gifted her mother years back. Helen Hayes was a famous American actress and her mother's great aunt. The cuff was made during the early 20th century and was designed by Fulco di Verdura, who was hired by the owner of Chanel, Coco Chanel. This cuff alone has the names of 3 immensely famous people attached to it. Its value was $100,000 to $150,000.
Goodness. Oh my word. What a treasure. What a treasure. And to think it's been to my 3rd grade show and tell class.
This guitar belonged to the oldest brother of the guest, who was a guitarist. It is a 1976 Gibson Explorer guitar made out of mahogany. The model of guitar is a reproduction of the original model, which was made with Carina wood in 1958. The appraiser placed a value of $3,000 to $4,000 on the guitar. A professional golf player personally came to the show with one of her golf clubs. She is Jane Crafter, a popular golf player. Jane loves to collect golf antiques, and she bought the club for about $300. It was valued at $400 to $1,500. This man won a Corvette and got Paul Newman autographed it for him. The guest participated in a radio contest for who could get the most famous celebrities to call in on their behalf. He won the contest after the famous actor Paul Newman called the radio station on his behalf. With Newman's signature on the car, its value was $30,000 to $65,000.
Can you take me for a ride?
Absolutely. Get on in.
I'm in.
A shoe display of the famous Air Jordan sneakers was gifted to this little boy by his grandmother. She had picked up the item after a store decided to get rid of it. And this turned out to be worth a few cool dollars.
$500. If I was going to put an auction estimate on this, I would put about $500 to $700 on it.
This guest got a costume sketch made by Edith Head for the movie Sunset Boulevard. Edith Head is regarded as one of the most influential costume designers in film history. She made the sketch for a costume worn by the lead actress of the movie, Gloria Swanson. The sketch had a value of $10,000 to $15,000.
More than I thought, so that's nice to know.
All three books purchased by this lady are autographed first editions of the famous author Langston Hughes. Langston was known for writing stories about the experiences of African Americans. The guest got the books from the niece of the man whom the books were signed to. She paid $1 for each book, and they later valued at $8,000 to $10,000.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, that's amazing. Really amazing.
She admires this sculpture so much that she cannot stop singing praises about it. Edward Onslow Ford is the man behind the creation of this piece. It is a bronze sculpture made in the 1880s. Ford's pieces are mostly representations of women, just like the one brought to the show. The piece was valued at $20,000. This man received a wedding gift from a family member who was a very popular and magnificent artist. Lois Mailou Jones was an African-American artist and also the guest's great-grandaunt. Lois was also an art educator and serves as a role model for African-American artists. During her years, she championed the artistic achievement of African-American art. The guest's wedding gift valued at $25,000.
So that's where I would place it.
Thank you. Lois will be pleased.
Oh, excellent, excellent.
The owner of this item hopes the maker is as valuable as the great Picasso. Unfortunately, he's not. A piece was made around 1950 in Italy by Marcello Fantoni. Marcello was a talented ceramist who made great pieces. The item was given a value of $3,000.
Oh my, that's a nice return on my money, isn't it?
Excellent return.
A lot of people know about Pokemon card game, but not many know about the card game that preceded it and influenced its creation. Magic: The Gathering was a card game that was first launched in 1993. The husband of the guest played the game and had all the cards in the beta, set including the most wanted Power 9 cards.
In the remainder of the binder, for all the pages there, because they're all beta cards, they're all early 1993 beta cards, you're looking at an additional $10,000 to $15,000. So cumulatively, you're looking at auction between $65,000 and $100,000 in trading cards here.
Oh my gosh.
Now this is like, let's send the kids to college kind of money right here.
Stay tuned for more videos.